Most business owners can tell you everything about their revenue and their expenses. Very few can tell you about what their business is actually worth. And I'm one of those entrepreneurs. So I decided to change that using AI. I used Claude within Excel to generate a valuation for my business. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to show you the insights that I got and an honest limitation of doing it in this way. Hi, my name is Kevin Kabu. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building an award-winning company with global and Pan-African clients. So to generate a valuation for your business using Claude and Excel, there are three things that you need to have installed. The first one is Microsoft 365, a valid subscription. The second one is Claude for Excel, and I'm just going to come in here and show you what that looks like. The installation process is very simple. So just come into this interface, that's how it looks. Claude by Anthropic for Excel, get it now. Fill in your details. So you'll just need to sign in to your details. It's a few steps and you should be in there. There you go. And it'll ask you to put in some data inside here so that you can authenticate the key, and it'll give you all that stuff. So since I already have it installed, the third thing that we need is the data that we want, the financial data. So the financial data for the valuation, this would be the audited financial statements. So for this example, I'll walk you through a valuation with some dummy data, but you can see here you can actually upload the data. So it's pretty simple. So basically on company-based assumptions, let's see what it brings up. So I'll just say dummy data. So I'll use this build bear base bold scenarios. So just reading through this, I think it's okay. Let's just go for it. This would be where, if you are an expert, it would definitely help. And what I like about Claude generally is that you can see that it has steps. It's like a checklist that it's going through, and you'll be able to see exactly what it's doing at each step in time in a very simple way. So you can see it's already created the two sheets. Step one is complete. Step two is complete. So the scenarios have been mapped out. There we go. You can see that it's building out now the cash flow projection, and it's complete. I think it's pretty cool how it's just populating as we go. So it's troubleshooting as it goes. It's pretty interesting how it's also doing the formatting. It's noticed that there are some errors, so it's actually working through that. Interesting thing here is you can see it's actually formatted it to my location. So it was USD at some point. Now it's moved into Kenya shillings. although this up here hasn't changed. And you can actually see that it's running here. So it's now fixing the format to USD. As you can see, it's already changed. All right, so this is the output. And I want to walk you through exactly what the exact valuation that I did for my business. So when I generated this valuation, what I expected was a simple model, which I can change one or two inputs, and it can give me a general idea, which maybe I can work with an expert to either see whether it's accurate or not, and also give me some insights into what I can do for the business to push that number up. What I got though was actually quite robust, and I want to explain why. So the first thing is it put in 3 scenarios that affect the valuation. So a bear case assumption, which is right here, and that's like what was the worst case scenario that would lead to this kind of valuation. And within that, it has justifications for the figures that it's put in. And you can see here, bear conservative growth at 5%, assuming that some of our financials was a spike, for example. The second one is slow margin recovery. This is a justification as to why it's putting in these figures. Same thing with the base case assumption. A base case assumption is maybe what's likely to happen. And you can see here, sustainable growth, normalizing after one financial year spike, and margin recovery, which is one thing that it picked out from the financials that I uploaded. And the bull case scenario, which is like the best case scenario, and it has its justification. So strong growth based on getting more clients, and at the same time, operational excellence leading to margin recovery. So that's the first thing. The model, I didn't expect it to be this robust. Second thing is the ease of use. So up here, you can actually select a case. And this case is just based on these cases down here, bear, base, and bull. And it populates this table down here. So I can come in and I can quickly change this from a bull case scenario by just changing a number. One, it becomes bear, and it updates all the figures down here, which will be used for the valuation at the bottom here. Okay. And I find that's very easy to use. Okay. And then it also has instructions down here. So you can see it's saying you can change this cell that I've just changed. You can modify the assumptions in row 35 to 58, which is this here. Okay. And you can adjust the weighted average cost of capital and input that is calculated on this end. So the ease of use is actually quite refreshing and nice. And the third thing is accuracy. It pulled the financial data in this table for historical performance very accurately. And it's not something I'm used to, because whenever I interact with AI, there's a lot of back and forth. There are a lot of mistakes that it can make. But here it actually did a fantastic job with that. This valuation also surfaced 2 main things for me. Number one was the aggressive nature through which our revenue grew over 3 years. And this is not usually top of mind for me. So there was aggressive revenue growth for 3 years. And it made me think back as to what we did to enable that growth and the market factors that also enabled that growth. So that kind of insight is not something that is usually top of mind for me. The second thing that the valuation unearthed is that profit and revenue usually don't always go together. So in the year that we grew the most in terms of revenue, our most aggressive growth of over the 5-6 years, is the same year that the net margin was the least. So it brought this saying to my mind that revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. And usually businesses grow faster than the systems that they have. And we need, as business owners, to manage growth, because growth isn't always a good thing. And we need to be focused on the sanity that is profit, because that's what adds value to the business. So you could look at the top line figure and be like, our revenue grew by, but at the end of the day, at the bottom line, we are not growing the profit as well through operational excellence. So with all that said and done, the honest limitation of this entire thing is just the assumptions that are within the model that AI has created. And this is why I say AI will get you 80% of the way there. So it's done the legwork. It's built a very easy to use, a very robust model. However, the 20% that you need, an expert will provide it. So someone who's a financial analyst, a business analyst, someone who has experience in mergers and acquisitions will definitely add value towards this valuation for whatever use case that we have as entrepreneurs, whether it's getting an investor, getting debt. That expert, the human side of it, will definitely add value. Maybe one day we'll have a situation where it's completely automated, you don't need a human. But I always believe that when you have a machine and a human working together, that's when you'll get the best output.